With fall 2025 upon us, it's a bit of a tradition on this channel to take a look at GQ's trend predictions because, after all, they're the experts, right? Plus, they've even bragged about how highly accurate they've been this year so far and that we should mark their words that these are the trends we'll see for the rest of the year. So I'm going to run through them, let you know my thoughts, and I'd also love to know your takes on them as well. I'll leave a link to this article down in the description box below, along with any of my own recommendations for fall if you're interested. Let's get into it. First up is a pretty obvious one if you're in the fashion zeitgeist, and it's slim shoes. I say obvious because the most popular sneaker of the year by far has been the Dries Van Notens. That's given rise in popularity to similar silhouettes such as the Onitsuka Tigers, as well as a bunch of high street dupes, some of which are very highly rated, like the COS and Zara ones. While I can't deny their popularity, and I do like the look of the shoes in isolation, for me they're just a no-go, especially as we approach fall and winter. They're just a bit too slim with super thin soles, and I don't think I could pull them off. Plus, the Dries Van Notens are crazy expensive, and to be honest, I'm just not convinced that this trend will last very long. Next up, again, kind of an obvious one, but maybe not. Windbreakers. Windbreakers do seem like the obvious choice for fall, but since the Gorpcore trend took a massive nosedive a few years ago, it seems people have been skipping on them. Well, GQ think they're back this year, and I tend to agree. Not just windbreakers, but any kind of lightweight, water-resistant layer that's going to be great for this transitional period. The thing I would keep in mind though is that these types of jackets are all very similar. They're usually going to be made of nylon or polyester with some sort of waterproof coating treatment that will eventually wear off. So you don't really need to spend more to get a better product. Of course, if you do want something unique looking, things like the Slight jacket from our Legacy or the Tennessee hoodie from Capital are going to be nice, but you will have to pay up. However, I think from a practical and style level, the Uniqlo Block Tech Parkers are going to serve you just as well. They're low-key, going to be a lot more versatile, and they're fairly priced. Alright, next up are denim jackets, but specifically cropped denim jackets. So a little shorter and closer to the body than we've typically seen over the past few years, and I'm all for this trend. Denim jackets such as the Type 1, 2 and 3 were actually originally designed to fit this way because they were workwear, so the short length and closer fit were there to stop things like the jacket bunching up or getting snagged on things while doing manual labour. Most of the versions we see today have been modernised for convenience, such as the addition of hand warmer pockets for comfort and larger sizes to fit more people. I think they look horrible, completely the wrong shape, which is why I love this trend. It's taken denim jackets back to how they were supposed to be. If you want something new, I'd look for brands who make honest reproductions of their classics, such as Sugarcane. Or if you just want the shape, you could go to Abercrombie, who are making cropped denim jackets. Otherwise, definitely check out some second-hand ones. Vintage Lee Ryder jackets are criminally cheap on eBay, and they look amazing. I remember talking about this one earlier this year. CLASP jackets, or Fireman jackets as they're probably better known. I think I said I liked them back then, and I still do. They're not a new thing. Ralph Lauren popularized them back in the 90s, but I've been seeing a lot of brands coming out with their own versions this year, to a point where it's already starting to feel a little bit overdone. Also, maybe it's just my feed, but I don't actually see many real people wearing these. I only ever see them in marketing photos that brands put out, and I certainly have never seen one in real life so far either. So, although I do like the look of these jackets, I have my doubts on whether they're actually going to be a big trend for the rest of this year. Next up is another one I remember talking about earlier this year, and it's crewneck cardigans. The significance being that these button all the way up to the neck like a shirt or jacket, rather than sort of halfway like many of the cardigans we typically see. I do enjoy the look of these, and I like the potential versatility of messing around with how the buttons are done or undone. Little details like that can really make a difference. There is something about them though that looks a little granny-ish, even more so than regular cardigans, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Grannies can dress well too, but I'm just not sure if I could pull it off. Plus, I actually like the look of the traditional cardigan where it ends halfway. There aren't really any other clothing pieces that do that, so it makes them unique. These crewneck ones just end up looking like sweaters when they're all the way done up. I don't know, I like them, but probably not one for me. Alright, next is pretty much a given every fall and winter. plaid shirts. These are of course a staple in the colder months because they're usually made of heavier weight fabric and come in cozy colours like reds and greens. The interesting thing about plaid though is that we actually saw quite a bit of it over spring and summer this year as well. They look great layered over a tank top and paired with some light denim. So yes, overall these are a no-brainer and I think we'll see a lot more of them in the colder months. If you want your own then I'd personally start by looking at vintage ones. Woolrich and Pendleton are the first brands that come to mind. They're highly available, pretty affordable, and they're usually made of wool or at least a wool blend, which feels way nicer on body and will keep you warmer. Plus the vintage patterns are always the best in my opinion. The next trend that GQ think we'll be seeing this fall and winter are cuffless beanies. And I agree with this one. I've been seeing more and more of these sort of slimline beanies. They're closer to skull caps than actual beanies really. And I've got to admit, it's something I'm thinking of adding to my wardrobe this year. I've never found just one nice beanie that I've been able to wear for years and years. I feel like I'm always buying new ones and then getting sick of them really fast because they either don't fit well or I just get bored of them. These cuffless ones seem to sit nicely on the head. I know it's come and gone as a trend, but I'm actually really tempted by the Arc'teryx one. I like that it's a wool blend, it's double lined so it'll actually keep you warm, and the skeleton design is a kind of fun detail that I think will look really good when paired with some more toned down pieces. It's super expensive though and would be a pure vanity purchase to be honest. I don't know, what do you guys think? Talk me out of it, please. Next up, let's talk pants or trousers, and one of the big predictions is bootcut jeans. This one's been slowly building over the past few years as we seem to be transitioning back to slimmer fits. But then Kendrick Lamar's halftime show at the Super Bowl really seemed to skyrocket this trend. I think it showed a lot of people that bootcuts weren't just for 70s fancy dress costumes. They're very viable as an everyday casual piece in 2025. But of course, a lot of us already knew that. Those in the know have been wearing Wrangler cowboy cuts for many years now, and that's where I'd start looking if you want to try this trend out. Second-hand ones are very affordable and easy to find, but new ones aren't even going to break the bank either. Of course, Levi's have their own version in the 517s as well. If you want to go luxury, then Our Legacy is the place to go, or indeed Celine, which are the ones that Kendrick wore, I believe. Either way, I think bootcuts are timeless and you can't go wrong with them. Next up, at the opposite end of the spectrum, we have baggy sweatpants. This is a natural evolution of the oversized baggy jeans spilling over into athleisure wear. The big player in this scene are the Uniqlo wide sweatpants. Apparently they went viral, at least that's what every video and post this year has been telling me. I guess because it isn't really my style, I haven't been paying that much attention. But yes, thinking about it now, I've definitely seen a lot of guys, especially younger guys, wearing these big oversized sweatpants. And I'm not actually against them at all, because I am on the hunt for a nice pair of comfortable pants to lounge around the house in, but these particular ones aren't really for me. I especially don't like the idea of my sweatpants covering my shoes and dragging along the floor. With jeans that's fine, but not with sweatpants. So I'm still on the hunt for some nice regular fitting ones. If anyone can recommend some, please do leave a comment down below. Last up is one that's hit a little bit of controversy, and it's boat shoes. I've actually seen several posts about how the fashion industry is desperately pushing boat shoes, despite quite a lot of people not liking them. And I can believe it. The industry does try to revitalize things in an ironic way sometimes, and I guess people are putting boat shoes in the same category as flip-flops. They're trying to make something quote-unquote unfashionable stylish again. To be honest though, I've always kind of liked the look of boat shoes, especially the ones with the chunkier sole, which I think would be a lot more versatile. That being said, I'm probably not going to be buying into this trend. I'm pretty happy with my loafers, derbies, and paraboot Michaels, which already cover all the occasions where I might wear boat shoes. So there's some of GQ's top guaranteed trends of fall winter 2025. What do you guys think? Are you on board with any of these? If so, I'd love to know what you're planning on picking up. Let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.